Welcome to the 121st Commencement of Salus University, Tuesday, October 13th, 2020. This ceremony was pre-recorded on Salus University's campus. As pomp and circumstance ornamental music plays in the background, video scrolls of the college gonfalons, which are flags or banners hung from cross pieces on poles. The flags include one for each college, starting with the Pennsylvania College of Optometry, College of Education and Rehabilitation, the Osborne College of Audiology, College of Health Sciences, and one for faculty. The video then pans to a shot of campus where a podium is standing. To the left of the podium stands the Fox flag, and to the right the ceremonial mace. On the screen reads, "Share your photos and congratulatory messages for graduates on social media using hashtag SalusGrad, and don't forget to tag @Salus University." Please rise for the national anthem. The American flag is blowing in the wind on campus with an American flag overlay appearing on the screen. President Dr. Michael Middleman stands at the podium and delivers his welcome address.
Ms. Serpin, board members, alumni president, Dr. Maggiani, Dr. Eckert, Senator Hayward, other distinguished guests, colleagues, families, and friends, and especially our new graduates. Good afternoon and welcome to yet again our virtual graduation for the class of 2020. I really thought that when we were doing this time, we'd be doing it in the middle of the Kimmel Center. Nobody thought at the time we did this in May that we'd still be doing virtual graduations, virtual classes, and everything else virtually. But obviously, circumstances have dealt us another hand. You know, while we all realize that this isn't what we all expected, we're going to do our best to celebrate your success and everything that you've done to the best of our ability. And you know what? We're getting pretty good at it. You know, I want to first thank and congratulate the family members and friends of the graduates for supporting these young professionals through this journey, especially this last year. We've all had to cope and we've all had to make some changes. And I know, and the staff knows, that these students could not have done it without their family's support. So we really appreciate that. I also want to thank Dr. Jim Caldwell and Ms. Alexis Abate, their staffs, and so many others for seamlessly putting together this ceremony. What you're seeing today it really represents days, weeks of work and preparation that hopefully comes across seamlessly as we move this thing forward. And as I said earlier, they're getting pretty good at this stuff, which is good and not good, given the circumstances. I also want to applaud our faculty and our staff. 6 months ago, back in March, when we made the pivot to going to online training, our staff did that over the course of a weekend. Now, clearly we've had a lot more time to prepare, but our world-class faculty, and I mean that, our world-class faculty has pivoted to the point where they have made hybrid education a core competence of what we do here at Salus. And I think that shows in everything that we do. And lastly, I really want to make a special thank you to Senator Art Hayward for one, accepting our degree, and also for everything that he has done in our community to make this a much better place to live. And now to our graduates. Congratulations. You've made it. This is a pretty huge accomplishment. I don't have to remind you of that. Although we're separate and separated at this moment, I want you to know that I really celebrate with you the accomplishments that you have made to get you to this point. I think Oprah Winfrey said it best, and I'm going to quote, "You are indeed the chosen class for such a time as this, the class of 2020. You're also a united class, the pandemic class, that has the entire world striving to graduate with you." Just look at all the posters around. But even though there may be not pomp because of our circumstances, never has a graduating class been called to step into the future with more purpose, with more vision, with more passion, with more energy and hope. That really encapsulates what you all have been going through these last 6-7 months. Now, many of you are looking to my right, and you see this flag here. This is the Fox flag. And in the Navy, when we launch aircraft off an aircraft carrier, we fly this flag to warn people that aircraft are leaving, and so you got to pay attention to what's going on. Well, over the last 8 years since I've been here, we've been flying the Fox flag out in front to let people know that we're getting ready to launch a class of graduates. So it's really the way I can bring a little bit of naval tradition to what we do here at the university. So the Fox flag is out. A famous quote by Charles Darwin goes something like this, and I quote, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change." We are certainly living and experiencing these words today, adjusting to change brought on by these most unprecedented circumstances created by the pandemic. And really, if you look at our nation's history, not since 1918 have we experienced something like this. Our resilience, your responsiveness, your innovation, the faculty's innovation and evolution as we move through this, and your flexibility and how our institution continues to respond have become a hallmark of everything that we have done. Now, a little bit of history to put this all into perspective. Before COVID-19, as I noted, the last devastating pandemic to hit our country was the Spanish flu of 1918. Remember your public health. Well, by September of that year, Philadelphia was really an epicenter, and we witnessed our first wave of casualties, eventually tallying over 16,000 dead, but 500,000 infections within 6 months of its onset. That's amazing. Well, at the same time, our founding institution, the Pennsylvania College of Optometry, was also getting going during that time. Matter of fact, it was January of 1919 when the Pennsylvania College of Optometry was actually founded, right in the middle of this pandemic. So here we are again. Despite this public health disaster of 1919, our founders forged ahead, just like we're doing now, and they created a world-class optometric institution that set the stage for the way optometry is practiced in this nation today. They responded to the needs of the patient, advocating and making legislative inroads that really set the bedrock foundation for what Salus University is today. Now, 101 years later, seems like just yesterday, right? Our institution finds itself again in the middle of a historic pandemic. But just like in 1919, we continue to innovate, we continue to change, we continue to evolve, and we continue to be responsive not only to ourselves, but also to our community, because we're still out there providing clinical care across the board. So as the university continues to manage through these exceptional times, you all will be the ones that chart and forge our path into the future. You've been given the tools to improvise, you've been given the tools to collaborate, and you've been responsive to the betterment of your chosen profession. What a great opportunity you have. You are training under arduous conditions. The way you train is the way you fight. That's what I was taught in the Navy. The way you are training now under these pandemic conditions will make you much better clinicians. You will see things that others won't. You will see things that you probably wouldn't have if you've trained under what we would consider classical conditions. So you're coming out of here extremely well prepared to take on the world as you get ready to become clinicians out wherever you end up. So at this part of my remarks, I usually try to give you some tidbits of wisdom. I usually had 6 or 7. But in the interest of time, people who are putting this together said, nope, cut it short. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with one. Now, Admiral Bill McRaven, who is now a famous Navy admiral, said during a commencement speech that the most important thing you can do to start your day is to make your bed. Well, I am not a famous Navy admiral, but I don't know that I actually agree with Bill. I think the most important thing you can do when you get up in the morning is think about what are you going to do to make somebody's life better? What are you going to do to improve somebody's situation, whether it be in your healthcare realm or somewhere in your community? Doesn't have to be much, but it's just something that can touch somebody's lives. And it's interesting, you may not even know you did something, but it will make a difference. So try thinking about that. So let me conclude with some words of inspiration from President Barack Obama. And I quote, "With everything suddenly feeling like it's up for grabs, this is your time to seize the initiative. Nobody can tell you anymore that you should be waiting your turn. Nobody can tell you anymore that this is how it's always been done. More than ever, this is your moment, your generation's world to shape. And I know you are ready to do that." With that, I extend our heartiest congratulations again to you, to your families, on this most significant achievement. We are so very proud of you. And now I'd like to introduce Ashley Sens from the College of Health Sciences, who is going to deliver the graduate address.
Class of 2020 Physician Assistant Graduate Ashley Sens stands at the podium to give the graduate address.
Thank you, President Middleman. It is an honor to have been asked to speak before you, family, friends, faculty, staff, and especially the class of 2020 on this momentous occasion. Today, we not only celebrate the graduates of the Physician Assistant Program, but also the graduates receiving degrees in audiology, biomedicine, orientation and mobility, vision rehabilitation therapy, occupational therapy, and optometry. To all my fellow graduates, congratulations. And as the saying goes, it takes a village. So to all the family, friends, faculty, and staff, on behalf of the class of 2020, thank you, thank you, thank you. The sacrifices we've made and efforts we have put in during our time here at Salus could not have been possible without your continuous support, understanding, and guidance. Today marks the beginning of something new for all of us. My journey to this point right here a graduate of the Salus University Physician Assistant Program, was not an easy one. As many of my fellow graduates know, getting into graduate programs can be quite difficult, no matter how strong a candidate you are. But in that year, when everything finally fell into place for me, I was fortunate to be able to choose between more than one physician assistant program. Ultimately, or should I say obviously, I chose Salus. Because from the first day I set foot on the Salus campus for my interview, it felt like home. During the past 2 years, that feeling has never wavered. Our relationship as mere strangers quickly transformed into friendships that will last a lifetime. And how could it not? When we sat in the same classroom 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 12 months. When we reviewed thousands of PowerPoint slides and spent countless hours in the evenings and on weekends studying for what seemed like a never-ending barrage of exams, quizzes, and patient practicals. I would not be where I am today without my study group, the girls I now consider to be my sisters. And our marathon study sessions on Sundays before a big exam, the silly mnemonics they came up with that at the time didn't really seem like they would stick, but then ended up being the only reason I got a question right on an exam. And of course, their endless love and support during the low times. We kept each other on track, but more importantly, we reminded each other to take breaks and practice self-care. When we started clinical rotations, it would have been easy to lose touch with each other, given that we only returned to campus every 5 weeks. But that just wasn't the case. Even during the strictest quarantine times, we continued to get together and support each other via video calls. And this feeling of home extends beyond the classmates with whom we've shared our struggles and our triumphs, to the faculty and staff of Salus. They are more than just teachers. They are therapists and role models. Their status as role models was never more apparent than when the pandemic was at its worst. Many of our faculty volunteered their time or picked up extra shifts to aid in the crisis. They did this while also staying committed to our education. We were pulled from rotations for 3 months, but the faculty ensured that our learning did not go on pause. When we were finally able to go back to physical clinical sites, they ensured our safety by providing PPE, and they spent countless hours on the phone and traveling to various clinical sites advocating for us so that we would receive appropriate hands-on experience necessary to treat patients on our own upon graduation. And I reiterate, they did this while also working as healthcare providers in clinical settings and worrying about and taking care of their own families. I may not directly interact with faculty and staff from other departments, but through various emails and video calls throughout the past 6 months, I know that this work ethic is common to all educators and staff in the Salus community. They embody Salus's mission of taking an interdisciplinary team approach, a holistic view of the patient, and an unwavering commitment to service. None of us would be here today without the mentorship and education provided by our faculty. Our time at Salus has taught us many things. I have learned that we are capable of more than we think. Learning through COVID especially has taught us how to be resilient and how to find creative solutions to new problems. But we have also learned that no one person can do it all on his or her own. This is the foundation of the PA practice, but also a core teaching at Salus. Healthcare takes a team approach. Understanding the roles of other healthcare professionals in the care of our patients and clients is a key component in taking a holistic approach. From the audiologists providing the gift of hearing, the researchers in biomedicine who are instrumental in publishing the evidence-based research we utilize in clinical practice, the providers involved in blindness and low vision studies, allowing individuals to recapture and navigate their surroundings, the occupational therapists, helping clients adapt and maintain skills necessary for daily living, and finally, the optometrists, tasked with helping patients maintain the health of the eye and visual acuity. COVID has made our scope of practice more complex, but Salus has given us a good foundation. It is now our job to get out there and build on it, to continue to question and learn for the welfare of our patients and clients. I end with two quotes to consider as we begin our journey in healthcare, as providers, educators, and researchers. The first is from Dr. Zubin Damania, aka Z-Dog MD. Unless we care for ourselves and we care for each other as professionals and as friends, we cannot hope to retain the humanity to give our patients the care that they deserve. The second is from Patch Adams, who embodied the spirit of bringing humor and empathy into medicine. A doctor's mission should be not just to prevent death, but also to improve the quality of life. That's why you treat a disease, you win, you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you, you win, no matter what the outcome. Congratulations, class of 2020. We did it.
President Middleman provides the oration for the honorary degree, Doctor of Laws, to Arthur L. Haywood III, Pennsylvania State Senator.
Board Chair Serpin, graduates, distinguished faculty, fellow administrators, honored guests, family, and friends. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce State Senator Art Haywood to receive his honorary degree, Doctor of Laws. Joanna Coca-Cola, an actress from New Zealand, is quoted by saying, "No voice is too soft when that voice speaks for others." Well, today we're unbelievably honored and lucky. Our honoree, in fact, is that voice who advocates not only for the constituents of his district and where we live and work, but champions the bigger picture by working on legislation to benefit social change, women's health, education, and most recently, assisting those citizens and institutions affected by COVID-19. All you need to do is look at your email or open up his website, and you'll see fantastic data and information that helps people get through the days of this pandemic. After receiving his bachelor's degree and graduating magna cum laude from Morehouse College, Senator Haywood went on to attend the London School of Economics as a Marshall Scholar to complete his master's degree, and then graduated from the University of Michigan Law School in 1985. Thereafter, he began his legal career assisting nonprofit organizations to revitalize the neighborhoods and do other great things. He's previously served as legal counsel to Esperanza, a community development organization in the Huntington Park section of Philadelphia. Truly an advocate for those who are underprivileged. Inspired by President Barack Obama, Senator Haywood decided to run for township commissioner right here in Cheltenham and won that position in 2009. As commissioner, he divested pension money from the gun makers, started the Sustainable Cheltenham Initiative, and created a non-discrimination ordinance for sexual orientation and gender identity. After serving as the president of the Board of Commissioners here in Cheltenham, he was elected as a state senator for the 4th District in 2014, and I got to tell you, he hasn't looked back from there. Now, as a senator serving sections of Philadelphia and Montgomery counties, Art's focus is to reduce homelessness through expansion of the Pennsylvania Housing Affordability and Rehabilitation Enhancement Act, as well as championing racial justice and equality throughout the Commonwealth. And most recently, his proactive leadership resulted in millions of federal CARES Act funds to be allocated to higher education, of which we got some of those funds, as well as to prevent evictions, foreclosures, and homelessness in Pennsylvania during the COVID-19 pandemic. You see, Senator Haywood has been one busy man. So therefore, it is my absolute honor and privilege, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, by the power vested in it by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, to confer upon him the honorary degree, Doctor of Laws, and present to him the appropriate diploma. Please observe that Senator Haywood is adorned with the hood that symbolizes high honor, which he so richly deserves. Thank you.
Recipient Arthur L. Haywood III accepts his honorary degree.
Thank you, President Middleman, trustees, distinguished guests, family members, and the class of 2020. 2020, what a year. Over 6 million have been infected with the COVID virus. Close to 200,000 have died. Unarmed black men and women are killed by police officers, including George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor attended Xavier University with my youngest daughter. Black men are shooting and being shot just blocks from the Salus campus on Godfrey Avenue. My campaign manager's brother was unfortunately shot and killed less than 10 minutes from this campus here. So many are killed by senseless violence and senseless killing. And it's in this context that I speak to you all today. America is in the midst of some historic changes. First, as many of you may or may not know, demographers say that by the year 2040, our nation will be a majority non-white. That's a big change. Last year in 2019, a majority of our nation of young people under 18 were non-white. Big changes for our nations. And it's in this context that the Black Lives Matter advocates, who are black, brown, and white, have been advocating for inclusion across our nation all summer. I attended white-led Black Lives Matter marches in Seller's Grove, as well as in Hummelstown, small towns in Pennsylvania. I've attended black-led Black Lives Matter protest movements here in Cheltenham, in Philadelphia, and in Wilkes-Barre. This is a challenging time for all of us. It's not only the challenge on the racial front, but also economically. We are in the midst of some of the greatest wealth and income inequality our nation has ever seen. And it is generating hopelessness and despair. Now, someone working full-time, 40 hours a week at minimum wage is still in poverty. The minimum wage is that low. So to deal with this emerging change in our demographics, as well as a severe economic inequality, we must address systemic racism as part of the core challenge. Now, I'm going to take a leap here because I know there are a lot of medical professionals listening, but I want to share with you how I see the system working and not working. The respiratory system that we all are familiar with is not invisible, nor is systemic racism. With the respiratory system, we know that air goes into our nose, through our throat, down to our lungs, where the oxygen is separated from the air. The oxygen goes to our bloodstream and then into the organs that power our lives. That's a system that allows you and us to breathe. Now, unfortunately, there is a system that is a can't breathe, I can't breathe system. And I want to describe that in the context of COVID deaths. We all know that there's a disproportionate deaths of African Americans from COVID-19. I had a hearing in the state Senate on this topic in June, and the experts shared some features of systemic racism that I share with you today. First, they shared that in high zip codes with high numbers of African Americans, there was very little testing, in contrast with other zip codes without African Americans. Where individuals were not tested, these are folks who are most likely to get infected and therefore be more likely to suffer death. They also shared that there are large numbers of African Americans who are on the front lines: bus drivers, grocery store workers, restaurant workers, food service workers. Many of these individuals did not have the personal protective equipment in March and April because higher-ups were getting the equipment and they were not. That's systemic. Third, they share that there was an absence of affordable and trusted medical providers. Affordable and trusted is the key combination. And in part because of where they live, but in part because the medical providers that they are seeking were not from their community, not known, not trusted. In fact, these experts said the comorbidities were not as important as these three systemic features. Now, this is systemic. It is the I can't breathe system. However, when we say Black Lives Matter, it's not just with respect to policing. It is also in the context of healthcare that Black lives need to matter. Now, I've shared a challenging story, but I want you to know I am extremely glad to be with you all here today. And it is because I am fully convinced that you and I are part of the cure as well as treatment of systemic racism. You, with your degree, can break systemic racism. And I want to share a few ways that you can do so. First, you can go to the zip codes where people are most likely to be denied health care. And I've seen it. I was in the Logan area of Philadelphia at a weekend community fair, and there I met Salus students with a big truck. And they were there providing vision assistance. In fact, I asked for some assistance, but they told me I really didn't meet the qualifications for that. But nevertheless, being in the community, as Salus students have done before, and I'm sure are doing now, is a direct way to be present, to show that you care, not to ignore the zip codes that have been previously ignored. Second, you can be a trusted provider. Let me just share a story about my personal experience with people. I had a favorite teacher in high school. Hopefully some of you all did as well. She listened, she cared, she believed in me. Her name was Miss Hobrecht, a white woman. Don't let race, gender, or disability separate you from people. Anyone can become a trusted advisor just as a result of caring, being present. You too can be a trusted advisor, no matter your background. We are all humans, all with the capacity for empathy, all with the capacity for love. And third, with your power, and your degree brings power. With your power, I encourage you, when it comes time to distribute resources, whether it's personal protective equipment or some other resource, to start at the bottom. Please don't stop at the top, because that will leave the bottom out, which is exactly and unfortunately what happened with the personal protective equipment distribution. It's not just that. When you look at our national healthcare system and changes that need to be made, first, please look at the bottom. I just want to share something about the bottom. If there are cracks in any building that has a foundation, it's likely that over time, that entire building will fall. The bottom counts tremendously. And fourth, vote. Politics matters. Just as my sister, who got Obamacare, medical care, only because of legislation. Just as many of the men that I have visited at Graterford Prison, who are there only because we changed laws to make it more likely that they will be incarcerated for long periods of time. Lock 'em up strategies came from legislation and politicians. Politics and voting matters. Finally, I'd like to share with you, and I share with all graduates and young people that I meet, that you are so much part of the solution, not just for systemic racism, all that is a key issue in our nation at this time, but issues all in your neighborhood, whether it's a block captain or a school board leader, a volunteer on a soccer team, all important leadership positions that hold a community together. I've shared with many, the universe is big enough for you. The universe is big enough for us. Who you are, there's room for that. Again, congratulations to the class of 2020, to all the families who are here and at home supporting our young people. Thank you to Salus and the administration and the leadership. Good luck. We love you.
Dr. Barry Eckert, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, presents the candidates for degrees.
Mr. President, upon recommendation of the faculty of the Pennsylvania College of Optometry, along with the faculty of the Department of Occupational Therapy from the College of Education and Rehabilitation, and the faculty of the Osborne College of Audiology, and the faculty of Biomedicine Programs from the College of Health Sciences, I am pleased to present to you the class of 2020, all of whom have fulfilled the requirements for the degree Doctor of Optometry, Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Doctor of Audiology, or Doctor of Philosophy and Biomedicine. I recommend that these earned degrees be conferred on each candidate at this time.
President Middleman confers the degrees.
Candidates for the Masters of Science and Masters of Medical Science degrees, upon the recommendation of your faculty, I, representing the Board of Trustees, by power vested in it by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, do now individually confer upon you your earned degree. We recognize each of you as your name is announced.
Master of Science in Clinical Optometry with an International Advanced Studies Certificate, Mazen Alokili. Shizing Nu. Ahmed Skeik. Zhang Zhao. Master of Science in Orientation and Mobility, Cora Faye Franz. Chastity Gillespie. Caroline Elizabeth Marks. Shane McManus. Master of Science in Vision Rehabilitation Teaching, Katie Lee Lepis. Master of Science in Clinical Audiology, Nadai Pathak. Master of Medical Science in Physician Assistant Studies, Sabrina Barmat. Kristen Michelle Bate. Austin Charles Benner. Marina L. Brown. Emily Lauren Bwint. Marissa Danielle Cavett. Madison Dastis. Viviana DiStefano. Amy Doring. Elliot Dutton. Rebecca Sidney Finkelman. Julia Fornato. Emily Fransco. Navneet Gill. Shelby Graff. Nicole Harnwell. Hannah Grace G. Hartman. Katie Heller. Andrea Hensley. Eva Hodai. Elisa Kolvek. Sophia Lane. Dalton Lout. Ashlyn Rebecca Lawrence. Carrie Beth Lamond. Yu Xuan Lin. Alyssa R. Lipche. Christy Ann Lure. Nicholas H. Lord. Morgan Lukiewicz. Ryan A. Martzel. Kimberly Ann McCarty. Lindsay Marakian. Maria G. Nicolinos. Emily Rose Knoll. Amanda Nicole Jacaro Ocampo. Nisha Oren. M. Simone Palazzo. Kristen Magna Peterson. Brianna L. Rafferty. Victoria K. Rook. Elizabeth Sarah Scott. Zachary Seaman. Ashley Sense. Amanda Srinivasan. Allison Page Tomac. Melissa M. Tuma. Neil Walter Wolchin. Doctor of Optometry, Dr. Vu Wen. Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Dr. Amber K. Fessler. Dr. Florence Mercier. Dr. Valentina Neufeld. Doctor of Audiology, Online Bridge Program. Dr. Ginis Bautista. Dr. Alicia Flores Sanchez. Dr. Kritika Iyengar Saha. Dr. Rakhi Sachin Kamat. Dr. Philippa Long. Dr. Mitra Mehra. Dr. Shandan Saha. Dr. Nina Menon Samal. Dr. Rahana Vanathan Vidu. Doctor of Audiology, Dr. Ashley Andre Lamaris. Dr. Kristen Shea Ramos. Doctor of Philosophy, Graduate Biomedicine Program. Dr. Saeed Hamid S. Eljani.
Dr. Eckert recites the Oath to Professionalism.
This time, I invite those in the audience who are members of the service professions to recite with me the Oath to Professionalism. You can find a copy of this oath in your programs. With full deliberation, I freely and solemnly pledge that I will practice the art and science of my chosen profession faithfully and conscientiously to the fullest scope of my abilities. I will uphold and honorably promote by example and action the highest standards, ethics, and ideals of my chosen profession. I will provide professional care for those who seek my services with concern, with compassion, and with due regard for their human rights and their dignity without discrimination. I will place the treatment of those whom I serve above personal gain and strive to see that none shall lack for care with their welfare as my utmost concern. I will maintain absolute confidentiality of all information that is provided by those who seek my services. I will continuously strive to broaden my knowledge and my skills to deliver new and efficacious means to enhance my services. I will do my utmost to serve my community, my country, and humankind. I hereby commit myself to be steadfast in the performance of this, my solemn oath and obligation.
Amanda Marcajani, Alumni Association President, sends a congratulations from the Salus University Alumni Association.
My name is Amanda Marcajani, and I am the Alumni Association President. On behalf of the Salus University Alumni Association, I am honored to be here today to personally congratulate you on your accomplishments and achievements during your time at Salus University. While striving to attain your goals, both your family and the Salus faculty were there to help you reach this monumental moment in your lives. Your tremendous efforts required immeasurable amounts of time and energy, yet you thrived. Never hesitate to build on the strong foundation Salus has provided as you begin your professional journey. Both the strong bonds you have with one another and the formation of new relationships will help shape the pathway to future goals. You have now become the newest members of the Salus University Alumni Association, a tremendous resource that can be utilized for your future endeavors. Our alumni have built a foundation of knowledge and experience, and we offer it to you to build upon. We are here to provide support as you explore career opportunities. Please think of us not only as a trusted resource, but also as your connection to Salus for years to come. You will soon receive your Salus pin. Please accept it as a small token of our appreciation. Wear it with pride. You represent the very best of your profession because of your efforts at Salus. Keep in touch with us and let us help you in any way we can. We enjoy hearing from all of our alumni. In conclusion, on behalf of the Salus Alumni Association Board of Directors and all of our 14,000 alumni, we wish you health, happiness, and much success. We offer you well-deserved congratulations.
Congratulations, Salus University Class of 2020. Share your photos and congratulatory messages for graduates on social media using #SalusGrad, and don't forget to tag @Salus University. Thank you for celebrating with us today.